I am Cigar and Bar, and welcome back to another episode of Cigar Corner that is also an episode of Bar Corner. Today, we're going to follow up on my promise to have my last beer-paired cigar, the Smoking Monk of Esteli Hefeweizen cigar, paired with the winner from my half-off from the Hefeweizen comparison that I did, which was the Muddy York Brewing Company Haberdasher Hefeweizen. So we're going to light up the cigar and we're going to compare the cigar's notes to the Hefeweizen's style notes here. This is my second last Smoking Monk of Esteli cigar. I only ever got to try the APA paired cigar and the Hefeweizen cigar. And I would have liked to have tried the stout, but maybe it'll come back someday and I'll get lucky. First of all about that gram. That monk looks like he knows something. I also want to note that today is day 23 of Movember, and I am still growing in the mustache. How does it look? Thank you, at the OCD Piper. I know your opinion. Thanks for shouting it out. And for what it's worth, I agree with you. I want to go back to the beard. I'm looking forward to it. But you don't start something like this to just bail on it so close to the end. Hard to tell what's a part of this cigar specifically, because I have kept it in a cooler door with a bunch of other cigars. But it does have a nice, almost chocolatey note to the wrapper. It smells good. I'm looking forward to this. I believe last time I fired up a cigar and then tried the beer. I do have a second beer to go with the second half of the cigar. So we can compare as the flavor evolves, we can try the second beer. So let's give this a try. As the season gets later now, and as it gets colder, I'm sure I'm not the only one who has difficulty getting butane torches to stay lit long enough to light a smoke. Now, I can usually keep this in a nice close pocket, but even just leaving it out here for a few minutes, it's gotten so cold that it wouldn't light. I needed to go inside and warm it up. Anyone have any other tips? Rapid warming on lighters? Good tips for other alternatives? I mean, ideally one would smoke with matches, but that's not going to be suitable in every situation. That's well lit. It's got a very sweet nose. Not a heavy plum sweetness, but like a light grape sweetness. So not a really tobacco plummy sweetness, but also not a very banana citrus sweetness that you get from a Hefeweizen. It's a very nice cigar. I'm glad I've got another one. Woody. Wouldn't call it nutty, but it's got hints of toasted pine. Not pine needle, like pine like pine wood. If you've been sanding it a lot and you start to burn it a little bit and you start to get that toasty pine wood smell. It's very fresh and light. And it's going to start to canoe on me. I can just see it coming. While I have you, I was thinking about doing an episode on tips and tricks, wondering if anybody wanted to contribute some tips or tricks for me to try out live on the show. Not really a cigar Mythbusters, if you will, but just little cigar hacks. One of the ones that I always remember from my very early days of cigar smoking is if your cigar starts to smoke unevenly, as it is here, you can see it's higher on the one side, you can wet your finger and just brush that moisture on the side that's burning faster, and it should slow down that burn and let the other side catch up a little bit. Not a good idea for the taste. I think I'm puffing it a little too much as it's starting to taste a little bit acrid like it wasn't a moment ago. But I got an idea for the taste. Let's do our Hefeweizen pairing. Among my collections of things, you'll find that I also tend to collect pint glasses from various breweries. It doesn't bother me. It just throws me off and kind of just irks me a little bit when I see people who are posting videos or photos, rather, on Instagram of here's this cool beer that I'm drinking, and it's poured in a glass for a different brewery. Now, that usually bothers me, not from an OCD kind of completion sake, but because if it's a brand that I recognize, my brain isn't going to associate this post for this specific beer with the wrong brewery. And it just kind of, it throws me off. It just makes me a little uncomfortable when I'm trying to process the image. Also, I think credit where credit is due. If you found a beer from a brewery you like, they deserve to have their logo plastered all over as much as they can. And it's just common sense. Just good business. So let's have another dive in here. It's been a while since I've tried this. Let's have the Muddy York Haberdasher Hefeweizen. That is just delightful. And now that I think about it, now that I compare the flavors, I think a lot more than the APA cigar paired with an APA, this cigar brings out a lot more flavor and vice versa with a Hefeweizen. It tastes a little crisper, a little fresher. I don't want to say tinny because that's got a negative association, but a little crisp, a little more tartness to it when I go back and forth from the cigar to the beer to the cigar than I got the first time I had this. The first time I had this, it was all creamy, clove, cardamom, banana, all kinds of lovely flavors in there. And I can taste them all in there, but there's somehow, they just pop with this crispness right at the back of your mouth, right after you've swallowed. You get a crispness to the beer. And after the retrohale, I get a creamier taste in the cigar, which I think is fascinating because it means that the two are really accentuating each other. Yeah, that's creamier with the beer. Now that I've taken a moment away from the beer, it's more woody and bright sweetness. It's a creamier, I don't want to say more banana because I know that I'm definitely getting the flavor of banana from the beer. But the beer tastes crisper and tarter with smoking the cigar, and the cigar tastes creamier with drinking the beer, which is just fantastic. I'm loving the combination here. It makes me feel all the more how much I wish I had a chance to try some of the other beer-paired cigars from Smoking Monk. If anyone out there has heard any rumors, any scuttlebutt that they might be bringing it back, I want to know, and I want us all to leverage the power of the internet and tell Drew Estates that we want more of these. I don't normally tap the ash this early, but I'm reclining and I'm wearing very pale trousers and I don't want to get any ash on them. So I'm going to take a break from the video here, and I'm going to come back when I'm about halfway through, and we'll see how the evolution has changed on this particular cigar. Well, I'm back. I'm halfway through the cigar. I just managed to get the band off of it in one piece, and it was on there so tight, I thought I was smoking an Alec Bradley. And if you get that, you're a cigar nerd. The flavor has matured a little bit. It's taken on a typical late cigar cedariness, with still a little bit of light fruit in the nose. Maybe a little bit this time, a little bit apple, shifted a little bit. And the beer just plays up that cedar spiciness with lovely addition of those flavors in the beer. It just augments it a little bit in the classic Hefeweizen. And the cigar seems a little deeper in flavor, and it's a little less over the top, a little less hitting you on the head with the flavor. It's just doing very well. So I'm going to enjoy the rest of this cigar and the rest of this beer and try not to freeze myself out here, as we're about 34 minutes from sunset. And all my batteries are running down because it's cold and batteries don't like the cold. So I am going to say goodbye to the camera here and trust that I did enjoy the rest of my evening, and I hope that you enjoy yours. My name is James. I am Cigar and Bar. This has been Cigar Corner with guest appearance, Beer Corner. And I hope everyone out there in YouTube land is eagerly awaiting my next video. Have a good night. Cheers.